Hello, Knockouts. Tonya TKO here. And as you know, I am a self love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I hope you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral videos as examples of what self love or self abuse looks like in your own life. And yesterday, we did a video that I feel that we need to follow up on with today's video about us as women taking accountability for dot, dot, dot. And so I'm going to give you all a few moments to come on in, and then I'm going to grab the link and get the link sent over to the text notification squad. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, the link is up. So let me go ahead and get that link and send out the text notification right now. Add, next, send now. Harajuku Barbie, it's been so long. Uh-oh. Let's see. It looks like I got to do a little bit of, hey, welcome in, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So, hey, welcome in, everybody. I'm just trying to get this text out to the text notification squad. And then we're going to have a really deep and depth conversation with us here. And let's go ahead and send this text. And then, uh-oh, what is this? What? Oh, I have to go just send that out. All right, so the text is going out. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right. As soon as the text goes out, we're going to get live on these other platforms. I'm sorry, I forgot to put your comments up on the bottom. Whew. Welcome in, Zakia, Takesha, Shelly, Charmaine, Bomb. Welcome, welcome. Harajuku, where have you been? It's been a minute since I've seen your name. All right, so the text just went out. So let's go ahead and refresh and just wait for this text to come through. And then we're going to jump. There's the text right there. And then we're going to jump into the conversation. They talking about you right now. Oh, how wonderful. Look, you know, the more people talk about me, the more free advertisement the channel gets. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A Perry Life, thank you for showing up in the comments both today and yesterday. I appreciate you all who respond to one another with love. And I saw a Perry responding with love to another commenter yesterday who was talking about how my channel had become so negative. You know what? I forgot to go live on these other platforms. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, come on, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We are live on Twitch. Oh, come off of here. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Facebook, and we are live on LinkedIn. Welcome in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hey, I am your host, Tonya TKO, and I am a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I hope you learn how to love yourself and one another. On this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments for what self-love or self-abuse looks like in your life. And yesterday, we happened to come across a video of a woman who was self-abusing through relationships, right? And the video that I did yesterday was, I was annoyed when I started doing the video yesterday, and I was annoyed during the video. And I could have come at the video with a different energy. Right? However, the energy that I decided to use was a very Stark holding up a mirror. I'll show you all a little bit of the video for those of you who haven't seen it. Basically, there was a woman who came out and was like, I could never understand why he violated me in every way possible, and he comes from a good family. Right? So let's get the video up. I'll show you a little bit of that right now, and then we
Cook
will.
and eat. I think she thought it was like a dinner date.
Yeah, let's get into the. All right, here we go. I am a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral videos to demonstrate what self-love or self-abuse. All right, so this is the
A
video
man
here.
like him who comes from a good family could be the way he is, but it's not their fault. He's just a monster. To all the women that's here in South Carolina.
So here, let me go back a little bit. Let's see. It's a long video, so little scrubs. I could never understand why he violated. Here, when I came across this video on my feed, and the video was talking about I could never understand why he violated me in every way he could. He came from a good family. And so we're going to listen to this video, and then I'm going to give my commentary afterwards. Welcome in, Text Notification Squad. Throw up your 1010s. Let me know that you're in the house. Throw up your boxing gloves. And let's get this party started right now. Here we go. So this is me here today, and this is yesterday. Here.
Me. I was with him 3 years. He never paid a bill. This man threatened on numerous occasions to pull out his penis and pee on me.
You know, listen, let's fast forward to where I got into my commentary, because this was a lot. This was a lot. Let's see. Oh yes, I see. Yeah.
Go ahead, nigga.
Yeah. The fuck? Yeah.
Threatened on numerous occasions to pull out his penis and pee on me.
The fuck?
You know if he threatened.
You know, at some time the threat had to come to fruition. What were you doing? Well, see, this is where self-love comes in. It's like when you hear something like that, what is your response?
Bitch, I'ma pull out my dick and piss upon you.
And what is it? No! I mean, what is your response? Okay. So you pretty much got the gist of it. I watched some of the video, right? And I could have taken a softer tone. Yes. All of my videos can't be soft. They all can't be soft. At some point, I was going to say you need cold water splashed in your face, but it seems she had many a thing splashed in her face. Well, listen. This isn't about her. And I realized I could have taken a softer approach. If I'm going to self-reflect, I can reflect and realize that I could have taken a softer approach. However, I will say that every message is not going to come softly, right? Every message is not going to be one in which your shoulders are being massaged and people are like, it is okay. Sometimes you need to hear the cold, hard truth, and there are far too many of us women who are relishing, right? Who are relishing in some very toxic areas of comfort, where we are allowing men to pander to us and pretend as if there's nothing that we can do differently. So we get caught up in this whole blame game where we allow these male gurus to come out and sit up in our face telling us all of these fluffy cotton candy words, right? And we allow people with big, high BMIs to tell us that you are just as healthy as when your BMI is lower. And nobody will know that. Each person has to go and do their own doggone blood work, right? We got people who are coming out talking about narc abuse, and you're sitting there with your fans, fanning yourself, clapping, falling over yourself with your hats falling off your heads, and just sitting there salivating, foaming and frothing at the mouth about how all of these people done did you wrong, and all of these people out here are so bad, and these people are demons and they're cursed and all this other stuff. But at what point do you ask yourself, what can I do differently? At what point do you say, you know what? This wasn't my fault, but this wasn't my fault. However, let me examine myself and see how I can show up differently in my own life. It's like there's so many of us who want the trappings of success. We we want the trappings of success without the risk, the late nights, the networking, the mistakes, the listening to constructive criticism, the finding trusted sources to be able to critique us. We want the success without the things that gain us the success. We want the body, we want the fitness. However, we want to be in denial about the fact that we don't look like we did when we were 14. We want the denial that we don't even look the way we did when we were 20. We want to be able to sit up and eat Oreo cookies and Doritos. And I don't like saying name brands in my videos because that's still advertisement, right? We want to be able to eat the snacks and lay around, and we don't want to sweat, and we want to wear wigs and hairstyles and makeup and things that are not conducive to being able to work out. We want to do the things that uh, are uh, are inconducive. I don't think that's the right word, but we don't want to take the effort, the sweat equity to have the things that we say that we want. And a lot of us, we look at men and we look at how men need to be accountable for who it is that they are now as an adult. Who cares if your mother abused you? Who cares if your father left you? Get therapy. Do the work that you need to do so that you're not showing up out there acting like that. Yes. Yes. One of the mistakes, and I can always tell when I make a mistake in my videos, and I did make a mistake yesterday. One of the mistakes that I made was not stressing over and over again that this is not about her. Some of you are new to my channel, so you don't know. This is never about the people who we are reviewing. It is always about us. I don't want to see anybody in my comments talking about, well, I would never do that. Well, her programming is different than yours, but there are self-abusing things that you do allow in your life. And any moment that you spend analyzing or criticizing somebody else is a moment that you miss in your own life, analyzing and criticizing yourself. Well, I don't want to use the word criticize because we can critique, but we have to do this with love. And in the same ways that we want men to be accountable for how it is that they're showing up as adults, we as women, we have to be accountable for how we're showing up. You want a healthy relationship. Guess what? It takes work. Not just in the relationship, but before you even get into the relationship, it takes that work on the inside. It takes you taking a good, hard look at yourself. It takes you, and you know what? Listen, I went on a healing journey earlier this year. You'll notice that I have released a tremendous amount of weight. How much weight? I don't even know. Because I don't weigh myself. I go to the doctors weigh me, and I say, oh, wow, look at that. But I don't weigh myself because I'm not in this for weight loss. I'm in it for health gain. I had to take a look at myself and realize that the direction that I was going was into lack of mobility, into early osteoporosis, into, God, that sounded so osteoporosis, so New York. Osteoporosis, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure, and any number of other maladies or maladies, right? That's where I was headed. And it's like we keep buying bigger and bigger clothes, saying, oh, the dryer must have shrunk it. And we keep covering up more and more. Oh, my arms, my legs, oh, they don't, just cover up some more. Until now you're shrouded. Your mobility is severely limited. I sheltered in place during the pandemic. By the time I went on my healing retreat, getting up off of the toilet in the morning was a struggle. You know how you stumble to the toilet? First of all, lowering down onto the toilet was difficult. I would just drop down because it was difficult holding up my own weight. And then when it was time to get up, it got to the point where I had to put one hand on one leg, one hand on the other leg, and push so that I could at least get the upper part of my body up. And I had to take a long, hard look at myself and say, where is it that I'm headed? I mean, aging is inevitable. But if nothing changes, things still change because aging is inevitable. Where is it that you are headed? And this is for you to answer for yourself. Don't look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't watch 600-pound Life and feel good and start eating your snacks and be like, well, at least I ain't sick. No. Look at your life for the quality of life that you want. We want to have these healthy, thriving relationships, but what is it that we are going to do? Let me tell you something. Having a healthy relationship takes you first being healthy emotionally, psychologically, mentally healthy. It takes you assessing yourself and being like, how did I get this way? Where am I headed? I see somebody saying, I had to apologize today, even though I was right for feeling how I do. I was wrong for how I handled things. In the clouds, but this resonated with me. What role do I play in my issues? That's from Mahogany. Yes. Having a healthy relationship takes really assessing how did you get to where it is that you are and what can you do differently? What is the difference between accountability and blame? I don't want anybody blaming themselves. And I said that over and over again. And personally, I don't give a damn whether or not you choose to misconstrue my words. I spoke very clearly in that video yesterday. You cannot give me a timestamp in which I blamed that woman. Even she tried to blame herself. And this is not about blame. This is about being accountable for where it is that you are, assessing where it is that you are, how you got there, and how you can do things differently, period. How can you do things differently? One woman tried to conflate. She was like, a guy bought me coffee at the store and he followed me home. What could I have done differently? You're blaming the victims, blah, 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 right? And I responded back to her, in any situation, we can reflect on what we can do differently. We can look around at our surroundings and see whether or not anyone is. I'm from the Bronx. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Before I walk to my door, I look and see who is behind me. I have my keys out before I get to the door so that I can put it in the hole quickly. When I am in a building, I make sure that the door closes behind me. Not because these things are my fault, but because there are things that we can do in situations to keep ourselves safe. Is it limiting? Yes. But having somebody come in through the door after you and boxing you up inside the damn elevator is limiting as well. There are certain things that can be avoided if we just shift our behavior just a little bit. And then somebody came out and said, we are blaming capital R word victims for their R. No. And I opened up to you all. I have been R'd. Most of the capital R words that happen out there happen by somebody that you know, happen during a dating situation. And trust and believe, like the minority of capital R words happen on the street in violence where you're punged over the head and dragged behind some barrel. That's the minority. The vast majority of it happens with a person who we know who has access to us and whom we give access to. When I first began life coaching, I spoke to, this was before I was trained, and I had to stop immediately because I realized that I didn't really know how to truly assist people on their journeys. I tried and I was able to help people to a certain point, but I needed to get training. I needed to become more educated on how to fully assist people. And there are a lot of you who are taking advice and direction from people who are not trained, who are just winging it. If that's what you choose to do, okay, by all means. If that's what you choose to do. We talked the other day about making sure that we are receiving information from people who are qualified. All right. There was a woman I spoke to. She said that she had been capital R worded. She was on a bus stop. She got capital R worded again. She was on her way home from somewhere, and somebody lured her off of the bus stop, and she got capital R worded again. It was about, she told me she had been capital R worded about 4 times as an adult. Well, all throughout her life. It started when she was a teen. At one point, there were multiple people there, and then it just kept happening over and over and over again. Am I going to blame her for the terrible behavior of other people? No, I cannot blame her. I cannot blame her. However, is there an opportunity for self-reflection on ways that we can do things differently? Because what is the alternative? Where is it that you are headed? Is it in your best interest not to self-reflect? What is the difference between blame and accountability? Accountability is accountability is empowering. You take your power back when you say, you know what? I am going to take responsibility for my role in this, and I'm going to see what is it that I can do differently? Rather than just saying, because there are channels out there that you will go to, and on these channels you will hear over and over and over again how Black men are inherently bad, that spiritually they are cursed, that they have a reckoning coming for them because they're Black. And it feels good to sit there and listen to what all these people are doing wrong. But trust and believe, if there is some sort of demon attached to Black men, right? You have to realize that the Black men, they get their X chromosome from their mother. The Y chromosome is an altered X chromosome. If Black men are genetically inferior, then you have to look at yourself. That's where that conversation is going, because the conversation goes in the same route of the eugenicists. where they're like, well, these types of people need not be born because they are inherently flawed. If you as a woman can look at yourself and say, well, you know what? I do not feel that I have the ability to healthfully raise an adjusted child, then you take the steps that you need to in your life to do what you need to do. To tell another grown woman to abort a healthy fetus that she was blessed with because of the behaviors of other people, and you trying to convince her that there's something inherently flawed in Negroid DNA, right? And listen, there's Ella is saying, I disagree. Anybody can choose to disagree with whatever it is that they choose to disagree with, right? Jasmine is saying the manosphere is going to love this video. I don't give a fuck about the manosphere. I don't know how much more clearly I can state it. I don't give a fuck what they're talking about over there. This is a conversation between us, because whatever the fuck they got going on over there and the lack of fucking accountability that they have over there, well, what bearing does that have on us? Except when you hear those talking points, you stay the fuck away. This is between us right now, us ladies. And your betterment is for your betterment, for you. For you. For the thriving, healthy, vibrant life that you want to have. Let them pussy ass boys stay over there and continue to blame other people and blame women and think that they're going to have a good life. In the same way that they're sitting over there blaming women and all that, we are not going to sit over here and blame men for the choices that we choose to make. Because on the flip side of the narcissistic discussion is the fact that the people who are primed for the narcissistic abuse were indoctrinated into narcissism as children from parents who were narcissistic. And with narcissistic parents is an embedding of narcissistic behaviors that you have normalized within yourself. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about what other people are doing. This is why it is important. It is imperative that you take the steps to look within yourself. Because if you do not take the time to analyze what you can do differently, then you will continue to do things in the same way. How many times do you need to be capital R worded before you realize that the common denominator in this situation is me? And there may be, listen, there may not be anything that you could have done differently. But if there is, you owe it to yourself to look and analyze your behavior, your circumstances, the way that you're navigating, who it is that you're listening to, who it is that you're following, where you're going, what type of situations you continue to get into. Not because of blame. Blame is disempowering. But even if at the end of the day, even if you want to say, you know what, mea culpa, my fault. Even if you want to say, you know what, my fault. The conversation doesn't end there with you being sad. If you choose to say, you know what, this is my fault, where does the conversation go from there? Okay, so you want to say it's your fault? I don't advise that, but if that's what you want to do, okay. Where does it go from there? Once you say, do you just say, oh, it's my fault, I'm a terrible person? See, shame, blame says you are bad. Shame says I am bad. There's no need to have those feelings. They're not productive. Accountability says, you know what? I played a role. What is the role that I played? And how do I do things differently? Where is it that you're heading if you don't choose to change your behavior? Where are you heading? And there are not enough men talking to men about the fact that they gotta man the fuck up. Stop. You say that you're a leader, but you're blaming women for everything. You you're soft and you're moist. You're soft and you're moist and you're blaming women. Let's look at some of the comments. going to take a quick look. Give me 1 second. My mouse is going crazy. All right. All right, let's scroll all the way up. Alexandria on Facebook says, my boyfriend mom is a narc. He can't see it. She cried and laughed at him in the span of 10 minutes. She constantly manipulated him. She says it's because they African parents, but right is right and wrong is wrong. They don't treat him well and they are classic narcs. Okay. I mean, just please realize that he was programmed into feeling that narcissistic behavior is normal. So, which of those behaviors does he exhibit? Keep an eye out, because if he's not doing the internal work and you're in relationship with him, you need to keep an eye out yourself. Black Panda on YouTube says a good strategist looks at their own weaknesses too. Self reevaluation can save your life or even catapult your life into the next phase. Absolutely. Absolutely. Black Beauty on YouTube says, Tonya TKO, I bought your book from my mom, my daughter, and I. My mom passed away from cancer exactly 1 week ago. She loved your book and used it. Thank you, Tonya. Thank you. Thank you. It's a powerful book, and I recommend it. It's on Amazon. Just look for Tonya TKO and Self-Love. I started using the book again because we all need these reminders. We go around in these lulls and we need to do our affirmations. I need to do my affirmations. The link for the book is also in the description of this video. Mirothia says from Facebook, Black men, we're always delusional. Us Black women were conditioned to love men who were programmed to harm us. Accountability is to let them go. Yes. Yes. Alex is saying, does this apply to young girls and teenagers? You know what? We have to talk to our young people about philosophizing and analyzing their own behavior. We've got to talk to our young people about looking and seeing what they can do differently, asking your children questions. What could you have done differently? What do you think could get you the result that you want? Jacqueline from Facebook says, accountability says I played a role in how do I do things differently? Question mark. Okay, thank you. Divinely Tarot says, stop blaming others for the work you need to do on yourself. Well, you know what? I don't want us to blame anybody. Summer on YouTube says, accountability and inner work for me is asking myself, what is the lesson in all of this? Yes. Yes. Princess on YouTube says, it's like you choosing to be with a man that obviously is a bad father, but you still allow yourself to be impregnated by this man, actually thinking you'll be different. Shaking my head. And you know what? That's a word right there. That's a word right there. It's like there was a video that came up with this woman. She had maybe about 6 children from a few different men. She allowed one of the men to come in and give her HIV. She had a bunch of kids and she was on the live crying. And I asked the question, I mean, how many more times do we allow ourselves to be impregnated? What is it that we can do differently right now? People didn't want to hear that. And from yesterday's video, there were some people who didn't want to hear what it is that I had to say yesterday either. Could it have been spoken a little bit softer? It could have been, you know. There's a motivational speaker by the name of David Goggins, who I just started listening to recently. And his message, when I first heard his message, it touched me. And from the time that I heard him, everybody needs to hear a message in a different way. His message touched me on the inside, and I was changed. From the first video of his that I saw, I was personally changed. Everybody doesn't resonate with David Goggins. That's fine. David Goggins is a high performer. He's been voted the toughest man alive, and he's continuing to challenge himself. He said he had to look in the mirror and tell himself that he was fat. He had to tell himself that he was dumb and all of this other stuff. Me personally, I don't recommend that. But that is what David Goggins needed, and that is what he uses to propel himself, because when he acknowledged to himself that he was quote unquote dumb, he decided to do the work that he needed to do to help him retain information. He had been abused by his father as a boy, and he has a learning disability, and he had to come to grips with the fact that he has a learning disability, and he has to go above and beyond for something that'll take a person 1 week. It'll take him 3 months to read through and retain the information so that he can pass on tests. There are far too many of us who like to sit back in comfort, and we like to sit back eating our eclairs and shoving our faces full of pizza. And the thing about it is, listen, there's nothing wrong with that if that is what you choose. If you choose to shove your face full of pizzas and you choose to to stay on that kick, that's fine. But please understand that there are consequences that come along with that. And as long as you are okay with the consequence, but what you don't do is you don't sit up there participating in behaviors and then acting like you don't know how you got to where it is that you got. And I'm going to say something controversial that some people may not want to hear, and it's controversial for me to say because this is something that we don't discuss. People who are in these toxic relationships, let's just focus on women, right? I mean, this can go for anybody, but I'm just going to use the word woman, right? Women who are in these toxic relationships that are abusive in some way, right? Either mentally, physically, psychologically, financially, all of these things, right? The controversial thing that many of us do not want to address is that on some level, in some space and span of this woman's psyche, her heart, her something, there is a benefit that she is receiving from this relationship. There is something about it that she enjoys. And this is the hard truth that many of us do not want to acknowledge. Is there anybody here that will acknowledge this? That there is some payoff that you get, that you were able to self-abuse through this relationship, that this relationship confirms. There's a few different things. This relationship confirms some self-hating ideas that you have about not being good enough. This relationship confirms some ideas about what it is that you feel that you deserve. This relationship confirms some feelings that you have on the inside where you want to self-harm, and you alleviate yourself of having to self-harm because now this person is harming you, right? Other ways that we benefit, right? We benefit by, I see some of you are typing. Some of the ways that we benefit is that we are in a real life drama where you and this person are the starring cast playing the roles of you as a young one and your parent, where the relationship that you have with one of your parents, either your father or your mother, is one that had a certain level of psychological abuse in it, right? And in this abusive relationship that you have with this person, you are in a real life drama reenacting in real time, attempting to heal your parental relationship. So like, let's say, let me give you an example. Somebody said they're completing the cycle. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but that could be what I'm talking about. But let me just explain, right? Let's say your father was in and out of your life. Let's say he would say, you know what? I'm going to come pick you up, baby girl, this weekend. Get ready. Put on your best dress. We're going to have cotton candy, popcorn. I'm going to take you to ride the ponies, right? And then Saturday comes and your mother dresses up your hair and your little ribbons and you got on your cute dress and you're ready to ride the ponies and you're sitting on the front porch and Papa doesn't come, right? Papa doesn't show up. And this happens again and again and you feel this feeling on the inside. Then you become an adult, right? This situation is unresolved. Papa died or Papa never changed or whatever the case may be. Papa is doing his own thing. Now you meet a man. He says he's going to call you at 3. 3 comes, he don't call. The next day he hasn't called and you feel this feeling on the inside. You can't recognize it because you're an adult now and you're far removed, because in my coaching I ask, when was the very first time that you felt this feeling? Because we go through your relationships and we go through and we figure out when was the pattern. When was the first time that you felt this feeling? And many of the very first times that you felt this feeling was in childhood. This feeling of longing, this feeling of not being good enough, whatever it is that you felt on the steps sitting there in your pretty little dress and hair bows, right? So then you call this guy and the guy is like, oh, you know what? I was really so busy. And then it sounds just like those phone calls you have with Papa, where he was like, oh, you know, my friend came. I'm gonna make it up to you. And then he says some key words that reminds you of that time as a child. And you know what you do? You say, I'm going to win this time. I am going to take on this relationship as a real life drama. This is going to be my project, my emotional project, because I need healing. And what I'm going to do is I am going to get this guy to show up. When he says that he's going to call, he's going to call. I'm going to get this guy to love me. Because if I can convert him, then I will know that I am good enough. Listen. If I can convert him, then finally I will be free. Finally, I would have gotten what it is that I needed as a child, right? And so you get into this relationship. He doesn't call. He doesn't show up. Now, all of a sudden, you're sitting out there on the porch again. And now you're an adult, so you got more agency. So now, instead of finding a relationship with a man who does show up, you're in a relationship with a man who is invoking those very same feelings of lack of self-worth, of angst, of longing, all of that stuff that you felt as a child. And so you are being paid off in this relationship with the hope, because this now is your opportunity. And you are gaining because you are gaining a player in your saga for you to attempt to find healing. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now that I have, in my life, I have come onto the other side of a childhood wound that I acted out in relationship, where I was like, oh, I'm going to heal this wound, right? Because remember, some of the wounds that we have, most of the wounds we have are from a child's perspective. It may not have even really been the way that you thought that it was. You know, one of your parents could have been traveling for work. And I mean, while you all needed the money, in your child's mind, your parent wasn't there. So now you're attempting to convert a man who's not there and have that healing. And I'm going to tell you that I have been able to come onto the other side of that and play out this draw. It took many years of many different failed attempts that only made me feel worse and worse. It took many attempts for me to come onto the other side and finally find a person. And I finally was able to convert this person. And guess what? It wasn't enough. Rosie is saying, Tonya, do you feel that Black men as a group practice this same behavior across the board so that no matter what family a Black man created, he still will benefit? To me, all of them seem sadistic in the way move, right? Listen, I want to get back to my real life drama and how it's just not enough, but let me address this real quick since it's up here. No, of course not. And there are vloggers who will try to convince you that all Black men are a certain way. I mean, listen, there's Black men all over the world. Remember, we're in the diaspora. According to this museum that I went to in Liverpool, England, there was a slavery museum. 70% of the enslaved people trafficked were taken to Brazil. So we have Black people in Brazil, we have Black people in the Caribbean, we have Black people in Africa, we have Black people in the Americas, we have Black people in Mexico, we have Black people born in Europe, we have Black people born in Japan, we have Black people all over the world. I do not believe that there's any group of people that exhibit the same behavior, because in order for that to be true, it has to come from a genetic level. And if it comes from the genes, then it's in you too as a Black woman. A lot of this stuff is cultural. A lot of it is patriarchal, things that are taught in the patriarchy. A lot of these things are societal. Some of these things are cultural. But no, I do not believe, and I think that it is up to you to vet and find the right man for you, but you're not listening. You're spending your time typing out a question instead of listening to what it is that I'm saying. You are finding a truth. This is called confirmation bias. You have a preconceived idea. So there's a certain type of person. You ever have a friend, right? You ever have a friend that they keep meeting the same type of man and you don't meet men like that? This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real life drama. So I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and in my hypnotherapy training, there's this thing called psychodrama. And in the psychodrama, we put you into hypnosis, and then we allow you to act out the same way that you would act out in relationship. We allow you to act that out in hypnosis and get the healing that you need. This is what I'm saying. Even if you come onto the other side of it in relationship, you have to do the internal work to fix the programming, because the type of men that you are attracted to, there's a similarity that you are finding in these men. You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone and do the internal work to change your internal programming so that you are seeing a different thing in the men that you're coming across. Let me tell you, right? This is never about me. This is only about you, but I'm going to use this as an example, right? Um, I come from a military family, right? And when I was young, my father used to go away, right? And I was a child. I didn't, the way that I interpreted it as that he was gone a lot, right? When I grew up, I started dating workaholics. And I would date these men and I would feel that same feeling that I felt, longing, right? And so I would continuously date workaholics. And it would be the same thing. I would try to convert this person into being near. But the truth of the matter is that my father was there. He was there. He only went away some of the times, but as a child, the way that my child's mind interpreted it was in child mind way. It wasn't the truth. Because when you look back at the data is something different, but that was the programming that a child interpreted. What is it that you interpreted from your childlike mind that is having you choose men, that is bringing you to the internet to say that you feel that they are all the same? You got to do the internal work. You got to do that shift on the inside. And you've got to date different types of men. There's so many different types of men out there. And believe it or not, there's some, like, you would think, from listening to these men, Damn, Kevin, can you copy your question and ask it again so that I can remember to answer that later, right? Um that you have got to believe it or not, like you would believe from listening to these men on the internet that every man out there is getting so much intercourse. What one woman won't do, another woman will, right? But there are men out there who have no intercourse. There's a whole community of men who are incels. They're involuntarily celibate. And there's from one extreme, involuntarily celibate, to the players. And there's a lot of men in between who just are not, they don't have access to that much vagina. And they don't have access to that many women. And they don't have the social skills to be able to go out there. Like a lot of us women, I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be controversial to many of you, right? There's so many women that the men that you're dating are the types of men who approach women and who kick it and they put their spiel down and they know how to talk and they got the gift of gab. This is who the vast majority of women are choosing from. You're choosing from men who are approaching you and who and they know how to talk that talk, baby. Because there's so many of us women, we are programmed to be like, oh, the men are the hunters, I'm going to let them come to me, right? However, if you as a woman step outside of your comfort zone just a little, ask a man for some information at the grocery store. Oh, what do you think of, oh, can you reach that for me up there? Sometimes they're in their own world and don't even see you. They're out there, they're in their own little world sometimes. Some of them are nervous. But if you're only choosing between the men who are approaching you, you are choosing men who have a certain type of programming inside of them. I encourage you to join different organizations, go to different meetups, and strike up a conversation with the type of man that you find interesting. Don't just choose between the men who find you interesting. Why not go out there, strike up a conversation with a person you may not have ordinarily considered? Let him see your cute face. Sometimes they're in their own little world. They don't even see your cute face. Let them see your cute face and smile. You'd be surprised. Listen, God, love, freedom. I don't know what your agenda is, but cool it, please. Cool it. Cool it. Cool it. Um, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Step outside of your comfort zone just a little. Nobody is saying that you got to be the one doing all the calling and all this other stuff. And oh, what you do? Oh, you not call. You don't have to be like that, right? Just just give a different type of guy the opportunity for a conversation. You may be pleasantly surprised. Is it always going to work out? No. He may not have spoken to you because he may not be attracted to a woman like you. He may not have spoken to you because he's or otherwise engaged with either another woman or another man. There's risk. All I'm saying is take a chance. Every man is not going to be the right man, but ask questions, right? Ask questions, demand honesty or only accept honesty, right? Oh, gosh. I wonder if you all hear me. I feel like I'm talking and talking and I feel like I'm not being heard. Let me put the comments up on the screen and see if there's somebody out here who can hear me. Let's see. Somebody had a long thing that they wrote and said, I feel the same way about my father, that I was not good enough, but now I'm an adult and I feel that no child should have to chase a parent down the street and make them be a parent. That is on the parent to reach out and establish that bond, etc. Exactly. And you continue forward from there. Exactly. Damn says, I go running and meet, hold on. I go running and meet good white men who think they, as men, should spark a convo in women. They think it's traditional and masculine. Listen, there's all different types of men out there. There's all different types of women. And I'm saying we don't know. All I'm saying is try different things. Shah says, I'm personally not approaching a man, but that's just me. Then don't. Don't. You never know what could happen. Could he be, now listen, there was a man who I spoke to, right? Many years ago. I was so young at this time, but this guy, if you saw the muscles on this man, you may have spoken to him too. God. Oh, his shoulders. But I said a little something to him, right? Asked him a question, and that sparked a conversation that actually turned into a relationship. Now, this man, he was a very passive man. That's part of the reason that he doesn't really approach women, because he was very passive. He was passive in work. He was passive in his business. He was passive in his private life. He was just a laid back, cool, calm, collected type dude. He wasn't a good fit for me, right? Not for me. But we did have a little relationship that lasted long enough for it to have lasted. And he played a significant role in certain aspects of my business life back in the days, right? But he also taught me that there are some men that don't approach because they're just passive. My whole thing is there are a lot of different types of men out there, right? Me personally, I already told you all I like the introvert. I told you I like the introvert. I like that, grabbing his hand and pulling him out into the middle of the dance floor. And I like being the spark of joy that brightens his day. I like introducing my man to different crowds of people. I like being talkative. I like being the belle of the ball. And I like my man being cool and collected and laid back, because when Tonya is agitated, I need a cool, calm man behind the scenes to mellow me out. I need a mellow man. But I don't need a man who is passive in business, etc., and passive in achieving his life dreams and stuff like that. But the thing is, you will not know. But me personally, because I like introverted men, I know that I have to just continue to be my extroverted self, right? I know that I have to continue to be my extroverted self. And there are different women out there who like different things. And all I'm saying is I am giving you permission in this broadcast that if nobody has given you permission before, I am giving you permission to speak to a man that who has not spoken to you first, right? Lexi's saying such a Leo. Exactly. I got big Leo energy too. And I'm not ashamed of that. But you have to realize that a lot of these men who are very good at certain aspects of business, a lot of these computer science dudes, a lot of these guys who are into all this molecular biology and all of that, these very, very, very intelligent men, some of them just don't know how to talk to women. Some of them just don't know. And I like those type of men. I like the type of man who is more on the conservative, reserved side. I like those type of men. I just do. I'm not going to be, imagine me out with a man who's talking to all of these bunch of different ladies and chatting people up and all this, that, and the other. Imagine what that conversation is going to be like when we get home. Imagine. Not over here, sir. You better keep your ass in a corner. Okay, no. Let me not behave that way. Let me calm myself. Okay. Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. All right. So nonetheless, so that's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. Let's see how long we've been on here. We've been on here for an hour, so I'm going to jump off, right? Is there anything else that anybody needs to say? Is there anything that I forgot to say? And so I think Dan Kevin asked the question, how do you take accountability in when there's a culture of men who are programmed a certain way? Let me just answer that question, right? We can all take a look at who it is that we gravitated towards. And just like you said you go running, you may be part of a running group and all this, that, and the other, right? Look, contact your city. I'm in New York, right? And in New York, there's the New York City Parks Department. They have all different types of clubs and organizations. They have yoga clubs, yoga organizations. They had kayaking clubs down on the Hudson. Me personally, I wasn't going to put my I will not talk to any women, Tonya. Why are you not talking to women, Sepang? Ugh. I will not put my body in the Hudson River, but they had groups in they had all different types of groups. Go to your city parks department. I am a part of a walking group now. And I go out and I walk and we go to the farmers market. Be social, go out, meet different people, be a part of different meetups, go different places, go out with friends, associates, give people your phone number. Every person that you meet is not going to be your BFF. Every man that you meet is not going to be your husband, but stay in the energy of being social, of going out. We have an introverted Leo in the house. Is that possible? You must be on the cusp of Virgo. You must be on the cusp of Cancer. That's what it is. You're on the Cancerian cusp because mm, mm, mm. So nonetheless, did I answer your question? Or just if there's a certain culture of people that you don't like the culture, don't date that culture. Go be with a different culture. If part of your weeding out process is to weed out whole cultures of people and that is what's keeping you safe, by all means just continue to do what is working for you. If what you're doing is not working, somebody is saying Black women need to be accountable for giving the weakest man access to their body and thinking they're better than the next woman. Miss J says, wait, who's saying this? Hold on. Hold on. Cami says, can you please acknowledge that it isn't the child's fault when they're at 10 years old? Can you please give me the timestamp where I said that any type of assault was the person who was assaulted's fault? Show me where I said that, right? When it comes to accountability for things that happen to us in childhood, I will say this, right? That in terms of being empowered, right? That the empowering way that we can look at certain situations is to look at a larger picture, perhaps spiritually, right? And figure out what is it that we came into this life to learn? How is it that we came into this life to grow? On a spiritual level, is it a possibility that our higher self, right? That we knew that there were certain things that we needed to get onto the other side of in this life, and that there was a recipe for a certain number of things that happened in our lives, that if we look at what it is and how it is that we grew from that, or what pattern has shown up in our lives, in what way can we take our power back? And for me, because I was assaulted when I was a child as well, right? I was assaulted when I was a child. And the person who assaulted me died before I got the chance, before I became old enough to confront this person. And throughout my life, a reoccurring theme has been lack of closure, that there were just certain things that just kept coming up and showing up where there was no closure. And so, one of the things that I have had to work on in my life is figuring out, how do I be okay without closure, right? How do I be okay in this life without closure, without getting the goodbye, without seeing that person? I was away at college when my mother died. I had not seen her for months. The next time that I saw her, there was this being inside of a casket whose skin that was not my mother. I don't know what that was, hard and stiff and cold like that, but that wasn't my mother. My mother was gone. And I had to figure out, how do I live on this earth having not been able to say goodbye to my mother? I had to learn from the assault that happened to me as a child. I had to realize that in this life, it gave me the opportunity to to forgive, not forget, not make it all right, not but to forgive the unforgivable. In order to forgive the unforgivable has to happen. And that is one of those things, that is the unforgivable. I've had to gain closure. How do you gain closure when you are not given any closure? I remember I used to be so broken up about relationships that would end, and I never got a chance to say goodbye. I never got a chance to be righted, that the wrongs that they had done, they never admitted them. I used to be so broken up if I used to get ghosted. And then I realized that there was a pattern of lack of closure. And I had to take accountability for that. Is it a child's fault if the child is assaulted? Absolutely not. It's not even your fault if you're an adult and you're assaulted. There's a difference between blame and shame. We talked about this. And I am going to give you a tough love moment right now, right? If there is anybody after 2.5 hours of yesterday's broadcast and an hour and 10 minutes of this broadcast who still feel that I am blaming victims, this isn't the place for you, because you're not getting it. And our energies don't mix and mash. Because if you want to stay in victim energy, this isn't the place for you. There is a I just lost my train of thought because I just saw somebody say there's no closure with the narcissist. Yeah. Listen, this isn't the place for you, and that is okay. That is okay. Because if after all of this time, like, how many times do I have to continue to repeat myself? If you are hell bent on hearing whatever it is that you choose to hear, that is not my problem at this point. I release you and I give you permission to go forth and find another page and another person, because I promise you, you will not find what it is that you're looking for here. You won't find it from me, because I only have but so much patience before I cuss you the fuck out for trying to put words inside of my mouth that I did not say. And if you don't want to get cursed out and I don't want to cuss you out, then please go your own way. Go your own way. Because the people who are ready for change, the people who are ready, let me ask. If you get, I'm going to check the apples in one moment. If you get what it is that I'm saying, put up the number 1. If you don't get what I'm saying and you think that I'm saying, if you were hard or beat up, it's your fault, and you just don't get it and you think that I'm blaming the victim, put up the 0. Let me see who's in here. Let's see who's in here now. Go ahead. I'm going to give you the chance to put up your numbers. Let's see. Somebody is saying they agree with me and they listen. Okay, so here come the numbers. They're coming in. All right. Okay. 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 So there are people who are getting it. Okay. It's going so fast the chat box can't keep up. Because right now there's 510 people on YouTube. There's 50 people on Facebook. People watching in from LinkedIn. Watching in from Twitter. And there's one person on Twitch. Hello to the person blogging in from Twitch. Okay. Okay. So the vast majority of people get it. The vast majority of people get it. Because this is not about blame. Because if you're thinking a thought in your mind that disempowers you, that is not accountability. Accountability empowers you to take the control of navigating. Because if you do not figure out a way that you have learned that you can do things differently, that you can avoid certain people, places, circumstances, or whatnot, that you can just navigate differently. If there's nothing that you feel that you can shift, then how? Then how can things be different? How can it be different? And Sunny is saying those who can't comprehend what you're saying won't put a zero up because they do understand. They do understand what that means. I don't know what that means, right? Black Beauty is saying, I'm sorry for your loss. You know what? I am not even sorry for my loss. I have been able to come to terms with my mother's death or any death that has come into my life. I have had to do the internal work to be okay with it. If it were not for my mother dying, you would not know Tonya TKO. If it were not for my mother dying, I would not have switched my major from psychology to radio, television, film, and I most likely wouldn't be a broadcaster right now. If it were not for my mother dying, I would not be out here making videos to help and assist other people. I most likely, I was a very non-public person before. You can be a victim and also hold yourself accountable. It's called preventative measures, using experience to better and protect yourself. Yeah, yeah. Vicky says, Tonya last week mentioned you had not studied the narcissist. I would love for you to do a show on it. Narcissists are crazy as heck. I really, I don't know. I feel like the term is so overused nowadays. And I feel like people use the term and terminology of narcissist as a full stop to a sentence and absolves them of the culpability of seeing how they themselves showed up as a victim to the narcissist. You know what I'm saying? And what is that I hear? I hear the apples coming through. Ooh, ooh, cash apples. I hear the apples coming through. Cash apples. Okay. And Truly is saying, I'm working on that part. The only day I couldn't make it to the hospital, my dad passed. And he may have passed because you weren't there. He may have passed because he didn't want to pass while you were there. I was reading this book about I forget the book, but in the book the person went to the vending machine, and when they went to the vending machine their mother passed away. And part of the reason that the mother passed away when they went to the vending machine was because she felt like she couldn't let go. She was holding on for other people, and it's like sometimes we just have to give people the space to be able to go and to alleviate themselves of the pain and whatnot that they feel in this life. Let's read these apples. So we have Raven who sends $10 and says, I love the example of shame and blame. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Then we have Anetta who sends 555 and says, this whole broadcast is a self-love lesson. Thank you so much. Alyssa sends $5 and says, your advice works and I hear you. Dated a kind Asian attorney. Ooh. He took my hint and took charge from there. And she says many times other men don't approach like black men do. And that is one of the things that we have got to come to grips with here. And then Tonya sends 111 and says, I now my loss made me heal my trauma. Okay, let me see. I know my loss made me heal my trauma. Okay, listen, that's what it's all about. Let me give hearts to everybody. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. It's about really figuring out, how are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay staying in victim energy? Are you going to be okay staying on these channels where they're blaming all of these other people? Are you going to be okay? Is that in your best interest? And so, Alyssa, I'm feeling what you're saying, because sometimes they just need a little. And you know what? Listen, if you introduce yourself to a man and then you all decide to go out and he is not, and he's one of those, you're gonna pay because you initiated, just leave him right there. Because the right type of man is going to take his role as man. He's gonna take his place. And there's one more that came in. Truly sends $2 and says, thank you for the new perspective. You're welcome, my dear. Thank you for showing up. Thank you all for the Cash Apples who sponsored the show with your apples, all my beautiful knockouts. Absolutely. So look, he's going to, like, the right type of man is going to step into his role. He's not going to use that as an excuse, and be like, well, now's your time. No, he's gonna take out his wallet and be a gentleman, and he's gonna pay, and he's gonna show up, and he's gonna call. If he's not calling you, if he's not trying to get to know you, if he's not taking you out and all of these things, then he's not the right one for you. Don't force it. Don't force it. So Lioness says, I can see why a lot of people feel that the word narc is overused, but there is a large number of narcs walking among us, but also a lot of us confuse it for other personality disorders. Well, there's a difference between being a narcissist and having narcissistic personality disorder. And I think that is where a lot of the confusion comes in. And when I see, so this is the thing, right? I'm a self-love specialist, and unless you are the person who is the narcissist and you are willing to go get help for your narcissism, I don't really see how it benefits us to go around calling all of these people narcissists. How does it benefit us? Because if you are cloaked in a shield of self-love, then you are impenetrable and impregnable from these narcissists. A person can get in the door, but once they start saying stuff that is contrary to your self-love, they get repelled right back out that door. Right back out the door. And you know what? I'm going to say this because I personally think that I may have been in a relationship with a narcissist, right? And these things happen very slowly. They start out so charming, but they got all of these psychological issues going on inside of them, right? This is when you listen to your friends and family members. When your friends and family members are saying, something is off about you, you've changed since you've been in this relationship. Like, come on. If these are trusted people who care about you, and they care about you, come on. Come on. I listen, come on. Listen to the people. Far too many of us, we want to prove these people wrong. We want to be like, oh no, I'm going to show you, you were wrong about, if your friends and family members are saying that you're off your game, you're gaining weight, you're looking old, your hair's falling out, and they're like, all of this has taken place since you've been in this relationship, you're going to have to love yourself enough to let that shit go. Let it go. Get out of here with that. But far too many of us are like, we 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 like, oh, I'm gonna prove everybody they were wrong about if everybody is talking about your man or your woman, if the people who love you, I'm not just talking about people who have codependent relationships and the relationship is not a healthy one and they don't want you to be with a partner and trying to sabotage the relationship. That's one thing. But everybody around you who knew you before this relationship, Tamika is saying narcs don't work that way. The fool some of the best of us. You have to recognize certain behaviors that they all displayed. Knowledge about them is power. Okay. All right. All right. I can imagine that with a narcissist that the getting is good until it isn't. Until it isn't. Tonya, some of the same people is to is people telling us to stay with him once we say we're leaving. This is why you've got to do what is right for you. When I had TKO skin, I kept asking people whether I should close it, but I wasn't happy in TKO skin, right? And everybody was saying, don't close it, don't close it. And I just kept feeling more and more beat down and more drained. And then it took me coming within myself and saying, you know what? I got to do what's right for me. I got to do what's right for me. All right. So I will go and learn about narcissists. Give me a good resource. Give me a good resource. Dam says, I had an ex who was 5'9". He was abusive and wanted me to submit, even though I told him I'd only do it for husbands. He had a Napoleon complex and went ranting on women, not treating short men good. I dumped him. Good. Yeah, he needed to be dumped. He needed to be dumped. All right. So I'm going to check the apples one more time and then I'm going to get out of here. Alyssa sends $5 and says, this is the one with the Asian attorney. She says, let's see what she says right here. She says, pay for everything, by the way. Exactly. That's how it should be. 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 All right. So, okay. So I have seen the name of Dr. Ramini. Abraham Hicks is not a good source to learn about narcissism. Abraham Hicks talks about all different types of stuff. All right, so I will look at Dr. Ramini because I've seen the videos come up on my timeline. Right? All right. So I'll look at some of her videos after we get off here. I'm really in the mood for some fruit right now. The DSM-5 is okay. I'll look at the DSM-5, but that's for narcissistic personality disorder. So most of you are saying, Dr. Ramini, oh, they're saying that she isn't good, that she isn't textbook. All right, so I'll look at Dr. Nina and Dr. Ramini then. Dr. Rabi on YouTube. Okay. So I'll look at RC Blake's. I couldn't really watch. That's the guy who's the psychopath, right? He was weird. I didn't like his voice in my ear hole. I didn't like it. So forgive me on that one. All right, so listen, I'm tired. I'm tired. I just bought so I put up a post on Instagram asking you all for help on how to make sure that my glutes stay pumped because as I have shrunk, my glutes have become they feel like they're flattening, right? Like my glutes, you see, like my glutes feel like I'll show you from the side. I mean, it still look big and stuff, right? It still look big, but they feel like they're flattening. I just want to make sure that as I reduce, that the glutes don't see, because in certain angles it just looks flat. See? It look see how it looks flat right there? Okay, let me not So I asked you all for some tips for my glutes, and you all told me about resistance bands, and so I just ordered a whole thing of resistance bands to just help me because I want to make sure that my glutes stay strong because I think it's important for us to assess ourselves um so that we are making sure JB, don't treat me like that. Don't treat me like that. Don't treat me like that. Don't treat me like that as if what I'm saying doesn't have validity. And then so that is the issue because I eat mainly a plant-based diet. I'm not really sure how to get as much as much what am I trying to say? As much protein as I could. And then Divinely Tarot is talking some mess over there. No, I get my workout in, honey. I can do a low squat for quite some time. I'll show you. You cannot mess with me when it comes to squatting down low, honey. I can do my low yogic squat here. Look. And I can stay down in this and do all that I need to do, right? Knees are good over here, right? But I need to make sure that my glutes are doing what it is. Squats don't really help me. I need some more resistance bands. So I got some resistance bands thanks to you all. I'm also going to try doing some jump squats as well. So yeah, so squats don't really with my own body weight, squats are not helping me. I need more strength than that. So I do have a vegan protein shake. So yeah. So I'm gonna do more of that, but I have to. And so you see, this is part of the journey. Part of the journey is self-assessing. Glute bridges. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got my resistance bands. Don't worry, I got it. Jumping jacks do not help with glutes. What are you talking about? Jump squats, maybe, but not jumping jacks. Anyway, y'all, all right. So nonetheless, I will single leg flute bridges, dancing ballet. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. Deadlifts? Really? I thought deadlifts were for the lower back. Vegan power lifters? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to do that. Listen, you know what? For those of you, listen, I think it's important. You know that I've been doing yoga since the beginning of this year when I went on my healing journey. And one of the things that we there's the squat that you just saw me go into is one of the primitive squats that if you can't do that, I highly suggest and recommend that you get into a primitive squat position that you can stay in. I don't know if you saw how low I went down, but if you go down very, very low to your bottom is almost scrubbing the floor, right? I thought that deadlifts for here. So let me see if I could go all the way back and show you all. If you go all the way down, all the way, I mean all the way, and if you can stay in your primitive squat position for at least, I say at least 5 minutes a day, you will cure so many different gastrointestinal issues and all types of things going on the inside. I do not go to the gym. I don't resonate with the gym. I work out at home and I work out outdoors. So that's how I do it. I go outdoors or in the home to work out. And I'm thinking about buying a nice big place where I can have an entire room just dedicated to being a gym and just go from there. All right. All right. So listen, I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I am out. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. Oh, before we get out of here, we have to talk about we have to talk about what were the self-love lessons that you learned from today's video. What are the self-love lessons? Come forward with the self-love lessons. So come. Type in SLL and let's see what were the self-love lessons that you learned in today's video. Come on, self-love lessons, SLL, come on. Sprints help as well, okay. It's getting really cold in New York, so it's going to be a little too cold to be outside working out. I do have an elliptical machine, it's the elliptical steer machine combined. So I have one of those. I'll probably have to be doing during the winter. Oh. SOL, accountability isn't blame, it's growth and power. Yes. Yes. You know what? I think I'm going to drive to the store and get some fruit, but I'm not really sure. SLL, cloaked in self-love. So many things are in your control. Take control. Thank you, Miss Sierra. Thank you. Go for the optimal life quality and live as well as you can. Yes, I love that. I love that. I didn't know that there were home workouts on YouTube. I'm going to have to look that up. Realize we need to take responsibility. Yes. Accountability is freedom. Yes. Accountability is a part of self-love. Staying in victimhood isn't serving us. Yes. Self-reflection and introspection will set you free. Self-control and understanding self. Yes. Self-assessment is a part of self-love. Break free from the victimization by any means necessary. Self-accountability, take your power back. I make my own sauerkraut. You know, I was homesteading this year. Removing toxic people and patterns. Yes, self-love lesson. Okay, so somebody is saying that people think that accountability means blame and fault because they're synonyms in the dictionary. I guess it depends on which dictionary you look into. You're in control and of what you allow into your space. Danielle says, I made her Sunday. It is my responsibility to love myself. And I love myself even though my parents may not have loved themselves enough. Absolutely. Make sure that you get therapy and you look into staying healed, because, you know, far too often, many of us, we don't get the therapy that we need and we just don't get the healing that we need. So right there. Ramani. Is that her name? Ramani? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. SLL, walk away ASAP. Okay, absolutely. These are good. You can go ahead and put the rest of your SLLs. Manifest is saying, I just learned RC Blaze is a psycho. Isn't that his whole spiel? That he's a psychopath, and that's how he's able to do his videos from a psycho's perspective. I don't know, his voice in my ear, because you all told me to look him up. I tried listening. I just didn't want the programming that was going on over there. I said, no. Do the shadow work on yourself. Yes. And we do need to plan a retreat for this upcoming year. We really do. That's one of the things that I have been, that's outside of my comfort zone, but I definitely need to get on with that. Are you saying he's not a psycho? Isn't that the guy who doesn't have his face showing, but he just talks into the camera? This is what people told me. They told me that he was either a psychopath or a sociopath, and that's how he does his videos. Maybe I'm thinking of a different person. If I am, forgive me. I don't know. All right, so listen, that is that. I will see you all. That's a different YouTuber. Okay, my bad. sorry. I thought that was the same person. Let me look it up real quick. I'm sorry. Let me look it up. And where is Mammy Mountain? I need to find that song because I haven't been able to find it. Let me see. RC Blake's on YouTube. Oh, no. This is not him. This person is showing their face. Yeah, this person is showing their face. That's not the person I'm talking about. The person I'm talking about is, he has no photo, no images. He just talks, and he was a psychopath, and he makes videos. So not this guy. This guy's face is out there. The guy I'm talking about is someone different. My goodness, I'm sorry. I apologize. So scratch that from the record. I'm thinking, so who is the name of the person? Because he has another initial type name. What is his name? What is his name? The one who has the videos where he doesn't show his face, and he's just like whispering into the microphone. Where is that song, Mammy Mountain? Oh, HG Tudor. Okay, maybe that's who it is. Let me go to YouTube and look up HG Tudor. Okay, my bad. Let me see. HG Tudor. Yes, I think that's him. Yes, that's him. It's HG Tudor, not RC Blake's. My bad. It's because of the initials. I thought that's who you all were talking about. Yeah, he does videos on narcissists as well. So that's why I got it confused. As you see, this is HG Tudor. And look, he's like, why doesn't the narcissist ask for what he wants? This is 2 hours ago. And this person is a self-proclaimed either sociopath or psychopath, right? But yeah, so I don't know. I heard his voice, and it just was, and then it looks like Tiara has sent some. She sends $1 and says Dr. Robbie, as well as Dr. Ramini. Oh, sorry, Dr. Ramini. Yeah, he is creepy, isn't he? So Takesha says, I'm surprised your weight loss is not upper part of your body. I lost my upper. So you're surprised that you and I have different body types? Please don't compare your body, your journey, your anything to anybody else. Do not worry about what's going on over here. All right? Only concern yourself with you. All right? Because I am not on a weight loss journey. I am on a fitness journey. So, and then also just, we have different body types. I have a different body than yours. My body is different. My routine is different. My diet is different. My genes are different than yours. So, no. Somebody send me, I need somebody to go to TonyaTKO.com, click on contact, and send me the song Mammy Mountain. Because when I look for Mammy Mountain, nothing comes up. Mammy Mountain. Let me see. It comes up as Mummy Mountain. It comes up as Mummy Mountain. So it's not, I'm not seeing it. Oh shoot, what the hell is this? Hold on. Look at this madness that I'm seeing on my screen. Mammy seen in the Jolson story. Al Jolson, my mammy. And this person has their whole face painted black. See, I'm not finding Mammy Mountain. I'm seeing this type of effery with somebody who need to go smack the black cork off this fool's face, right? Oh. TD says, exactly, Tonya, that comment was rude. I don't think the comment was rude, and we have to stop taking things so damn personally. Everybody is on their own journey. We over here so busy thinking about what rude is rude. If there is a person who is being rude, that is on them. We have to stop taking this stuff so personally, right? Ah. Oh, I need to go find me some fruit. I'm in the mood for some fruit. All right. And somebody says we can't address narcissism without addressing codependency. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, let me get out of here. I'm tired. I want fruit. We've been on for almost 2 hours. So let me get off of here. I'll see you all in the next video. Go to TonyaTKO.com, click on contact and send me the song. I'll see it there. All right. I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. The self-love lesson that I learned from today's video is what is the self-love lesson I learned from today's video? This is the self-love lesson that I learned in today's video. To make sure that we stay open to trusted sets of advisors who have personal access to us, who feel empowered enough to be able to speak up and tell us how they feel and things that they observe that we may be blind to. Our trusted set of advisors can save us from heartbreak, heartache. If you feel that you have to lie about your relationship and lie to people about what's happening in your relationship, that is a warning sign. If there are people around you who are warning you about your mate, fucking listen. Fucking listen. That's all I can say on that. That's all I can say on that. All right? I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I'm out.